Today, I've set a goal for myself to go out and film a video. However, I spent most of the day just sitting down inside my room thinking about what will I talk about. Well, what I decided to do is just instead of trying to come up with ideas or try to force it, I just picked up my camera and walked out here to the park and trusted myself and my own ability to come up with a topic that I will want to talk about, something that's going to excite me, instead of trying to force something on you guys that's not very enthusiastic, or something that I'm not very enthusiastic, what I want to talk about. That's one of the things that a lot of creators have problem with. First of all, is free flowing, just like this, right? You just turn on and you start talking about stuff that you enjoy, right? Funny enough, men have hard time doing it. However, most of the females, or the opposite sex, females are just really good at free flowing with these conversations because I don't know why. It's just a different form of communication. However, guys and men, we always struggle because we just get stuck up and I'm like, what's the thing that I'm going to talk about next? Who knows? But as I was walking to this park, a topic revealed itself, an insight revealed itself to me. And that specific insight is camera confidence. And this is not very much talked about. I don't know why. I've seen people talk about it, but it's very surface level stuff like, assume that you're talking to a friend, look directly into the camera, do all this other fancy stuff. There's a very simple saying, confidence comes from competence. So once you start doing something often, right, consistently, you get good at it. It's like going to the gym. Your first time at the gym, you don't bench 100 kilos. You build up to it. Actually, funny enough, there's a very small percentage of population that are even able to bench 100 kilos. I didn't get to that point yet, but I'm a small person on a different note. So camera confidence. How can you become or appear confident in front of the camera? How can you become this free-flowing person where you just, as a creator, you're able just to switch on the camera like this and start talking about stuff? Well, first of all, it comes from the confidence in yourself. It's your own ability. It's trusting yourself that you're going to be able to do the thing. Now, this is more of a deeper mindset thinking methodology, but I'm not here to share some surface level tips, which I will later on, probably, most likely. But everything comes from just believing in yourself. And it sounds so cringe. Yes, believe yourself. It's cringe. Yes, I know, but it's the truth, right? You have to trust yourself and your own ability that you're going to be able to do that. You will be able to come up with topics on the go. You will be able to help people. Actually, this is important. Number one blockage is the fact that you probably don't believe that your stuff is valuable. If you believe that your stuff is valuable and it's unethical for you to hold it back and not share it with the world, then it kind of unlocks this another level of thinking, another level of your brain where you just it encourages you. You get inspired to go out here like this in the park during the sunset when people are walking around me in this nice little frame. Look, let me tell you something. There's so many people walking around me. Nobody's even looking at me. They don't really care. They just glance for 2 seconds and they go away. But funny enough, I had to move because there was some inadequate individuals in the spot that I was filming. One time I decided to move somewhere else. I have to move back to a better spot. Anyway, so back to the camera confidence. So number one thing is that you have to trust yourself and your own ability in yourself that you are able to share something of value. And here's the thing, everybody has something of value to share. But what stops them most of the time is the simple limiting belief of that they're not interesting, they don't have any value to share, nobody is going to listen to them. The point is that everything starts here. Nothing starts with the surface level tips. Like imagine that your camera is a friend that you're talking about. Imagine that do the 5-minute exercise where you talk for 5 minutes in front of the camera before you actually get into your topic, stuff like that. Everything starts here. Right? And it's that belief in yourself. That's number one. Believe that you have something of value to share. If you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to believe in you, right? Aside from your mom. Even your mom probably doesn't believe in you. Even your parents love you, but they don't believe that you're going to be able to do the things that you want to do, right? They want what's safe for you. It doesn't matter if you're 40, 50, 20, whatever, right? Their parents will always want the safe thing for you until you prove them differently. But that's not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is specifically how can you be confident in front of the camera. And once you understand that it's just here, like everything starts with here, the second thing is just putting in the practice. The more content you create, the better at it you will get. Like I was not all this bubbly all the time, always free flowing, whatever you want to call it. I was also bad at content. But the difference is that I've been creating content consistently for about a year and a half. That's how long I've been making videos. But also, I was also making videos not just for myself, but for clients, right? So that kind of seeing how they work and how they operate in front of the camera helped me. And then on top of that, I had been making videos for about 15 years, if not more, give or take. I started around when I was 14 in the silly YouTube videos in my room when I was 14 or 15. I actually can't remember that well, but that's the point. Like I've been doing this for a while. Like you can't expect to just go into it and be a professional presenter. Like to be fair, I'm not anything amazing, right? I'm not like godlike presenter or communicator. One of the reasons why I started making these videos is because I want to get better at communicating the ideas that I have. So you have to come in with the right expectations, just like going to the gym. You're not going to be shredded or ripped in your first 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever, right? Depending on where you're starting, right? That's off topic. But you're not going to know all the exercises from the gym. You're not going to be in your best shape within the first 3 months. It takes time to get in the best shape. It takes time to reach certain goals. And the same applies to content. It takes time to get good at content. We're losing light pretty quick, so I'll try to wrap this up. Long story short, the most important thing is to understand that, yeah, you will probably suck, right? I have friends who are extremely successful business owners, but they want to start create content. However, they just are not great at content. And they are afraid of, I'd say, two major things, which is looking stupid or looking poorly in front of other people that are not even creating content. Like who cares about what they think? Because this is not an easy feat to do. Like not everybody does this. It's not that, well, I almost said it's not that hard to create content like this, but it's harder than it looks like. For me, it's easy because I have that experience, and you could say it's the curse of knowledge. I think that it's easy for everybody. I think that it is easy to do it. And that was one of my biggest mistakes when I was coming up in the content space. The fact that I thought it was easy for everybody else. And I talked about more advanced stuff versus all the more beginning stuff that could help a lot of people. So to wrap this up, believe in yourself, be okay with not being good or being great at it. And then finally, do more of the content, create more content, be more in front of the camera. My best exercise when I decided to take this seriously, was doing a podcast for 1 hour. Was it every week? I believe it was every week, 1 hour. I would sit down and I would just ramble. I would go on a rant. I wouldn't say on a rant, but I would talk about things that happened in that week. I published the podcast. However, you don't need to do it if you don't want to. You don't need to publish the podcast if you don't want to. You can sit down and just ramble on for an hour, record it, or don't record it. Ideally, record it, right? So you have something to look back at it. If you want to publish it, publish it. Be okay with people not listening to it because it's probably going to be bad and nobody's going to care about it. But the more you do of that, the better you're going to get. And because nobody becomes great at things overnight.